Thanks for joining me. We're back on the Bug, the little Peugeot 107. Do you remember in the last video we we're going to do the resurrection? It's been stood for over a year, just down the garden. The gearbox, first gear, is had it from the Silverstone track day. But what we've got over there is a new gearbox. So this gearbox from Charles Trent, delivered next day, pallet. The dog's interrupting. Shut up. Gearbox came from Charles Trent, next day delivery. There was a choice of about 3 on there. One was from a 2006, that was about 150 quid. And this one was from a 2010. I've paid £240 for it. Bit more, but hopefully it's got less miles on it and everything, so it should be okay. We don't know till we put it in though. So what we're going to do this time, if you remember in the video I did ages ago on the Aygo where we took the gearbox out, I did that on my pit in the garage. Not everybody's got a pit, so let's have a go on the driveway, see if we can get it done out here with jacks, axle stands and on us back. But anyway, let's give it a go. We're all for a bit of a laugh, let's see if we can keep my fingers, because I remember I chopped my finger last time as well. So yeah, let's give it a go. Get this gearbox out, enough talking, crack on. Need to get it up in the air, so we'll just get the jacks under the sills on the jacking points. First thing we've got to do is get the battery out, the battery carrier, take the bolts out and stuff out the top here, make a bit of room, and then we'll get it up in the air, go underneath and take the bolts out around the bottom. Drive shaft's got to come out, so the bottom arms have got to be cracked off, ball joints. Nice little job, let's go for it. A little bit of housekeeping, we'll just get the leaves and moss and crap sucked up. First thing we're going to do is remove the battery terminals, get those out of the way. That one on the right hand side, the negative, was really tight, the bolt was sticking, but we managed to get it off. Again, this battery retaining bracket, a 12mm bolt there, that was really tight, but with a bit of rust off that came out alright. Got a few clips holding the wires and the fuse box, 2 little 10mm bolts holding that in there, a couple of 10mm bolts on this battery tray. A great tip if you want to get one of these little plastic retaining clips off without too much hassle. This one's a little 11mm socket. You just push it over it like that. It pushes the tabs in and out it pops. Nice and easy. Gives us loads more access now. We can get at all those top bolts on the gearbox. We've got 2 12mm bolts holding the cable selectors to the gearbox. We've got a couple of little split pins holding the cables to the selector. We'll pop them out. We've got an earth bolt. We've got 3 14mm bolts on the engine mounted on the top and 1 at the side. We've got a 12mm bolt on the top just holding another cable retaining bracket in there. So we'll get all of those out the way. Here we go for the engine mounting bolts. We get it right up in the air now. That's the top half really sorted. A couple of axle stands under there as well. Wheels coming off. Them beautiful ATS Cup Juniors. Love them. Now we can see what we're up to under here. We've got to get these ball joints off on the bottom. They're going to be tight. I've got a nice splitting tool though. This is a beautiful tool. Managed to pick this up. And that just separates those ball joints there. These have got a 19mm castle nut on the top with a split pin through. We'll get that tool on there like I said and just wind that up and it pings them off. Now the other side came off with the tool straight away. This one I've got quite a bit of tension in that and I'm just going to give it a tap with a hammer. Oh, that won't be a bang, didn't it? That won't be a bang. That was a tight one. Let's got it out. We could just pop the bar through the bottom arm, lever it down, and that hub's now out of the ball joint. Right, so now I'm under here, and we've got the oxygen sensor in the exhaust there. I'm looking at the exhaust pipe and it looks pretty corroded down the back, so I think I'm going to have to replace this front pipe. So I'm going to take it off, but I want to get this oxygen sensor out. I'm going to do it in situ here. Hopefully I've got my tool here. You slide that on there, lock it in and crack it off. So if I can get this out, happy days. Let's see, this could be corroded and really tight. Might need to heat it up. Let's just see what happens. I don't want to damage it though, if we can help it. That's tight, that is. That's really tight. Let's get some heat on it. There we go. Well, let's pop the plug off the top. Gives us some room now to get this exhaust, to get this gearbox out. Let's drop the oil out. This is a big 24mm nut to get out there to drain the oil from the gearbox. And there's one at the front, same size, for the filling, so it's nice and easy. The gearbox holds 1.7 litres of oil, so there's not too much in there. I'm just going to whip this little panel off the side to give us a bit more room again, just to open it up. We'll have that drive shaft out. And the same with this side, I've got my bolster chisel there, just get it in behind it. This fits lovely, just to get it in behind the little knuckle on that little drive shaft there, and just leave it against the gearbox. It's on a split ring and it just pops out. So that's released that. We can just push that hub away and slide that drive shaft out of the gearbox nicely. Being careful not to damage the seal though. We don't want to damage the oil seal. Well, it doesn't really matter on this one because it's not going back, but if we were doing a clutch say, you want to be careful of that seal. We've got a couple of bolts at the back there. That one's the bottom one on the starter motor. There's only two holding the starter motor in on this. One at the top, one at the bottom. So get those out of the way. Leaving the starter motor in situ there. I'm not going to move it out, not taking any of the wires off it. We've got this little tin plate there, little dust cover on the back of the flywheel there. Big engine mounting bolt out the back, and we'll have that out of the way. And then just the bell housing bolts. We've took the ones out the top already. These are all 17mm. Whiz them out. Got a jack under it supporting the engine now, just so it doesn't drop down. Got a little block at the back to stop it swinging backwards, just to hold it in place. And then we can lever this gearbox out. Got a little screwdriver, just giving it a wiggle. And eventually, it's free. Oh, it's out. Just looking at the clutch, the plate's got quite a bit of wear on it, so I'm going to have to go and get a new clutch for it as well. And we'll stick one of them in there. Clutch plate's held in with some 12mm bolts, so we'll just pop those out and just lever it off. Away it comes. The fingers are more worn than the actual plate itself. That's not too bad. The friction plate there's still got a bit of material on it. XCD clutch, this one that was in there. Really nice plate that. I was well impressed with the quality of it. We've got this new one going back in again. We've cleaned up the flywheel, give it a quick bit of emery cloth on there just to get the glaze off. Got my self-made tool there, bit of pipe with some tape around it to space it out so that the clutch fits dead centre. Got the new gearbox now on the pallet. We'll take the release bearing off of there, grease it up, clean it up, put the new one on. We've got on the old gearbox, there's a little dowel that's still in the engine. Now, the one that's on the new one, it's got a dowel in it, as you can see there, that I've got to take out because we can't have obviously two dowels because it won't go together. So I need to just remove this one. This is going to be tight. It should stay in the engine. It shouldn't be coming out in the gearbox. I'd always expect it to stay in the engine, but this one, as it happens, has come out in the box. I'm going to need to get some heat on this because it's not shifting. So just warm up the housing there, and eventually it comes out. We'll drop a bit of lube in the hole, and that'll be ready to go back in again. Always got to check these things though, just to make sure everything's the same. I guess I forgot to press record on the camera when putting the gearbox back in, so I've just rewound getting it out for you, just so we feel like we're not missing out. It literally did go straight in. I was well surprised. Then we're on to the just doing the bolts back up and putting it all back together again. So you've got the mounting going on the bottom there. It's getting dark, look. getting the bell housing bolts done up. We'll pop those in, drive shaft back in again. Oh no, my battery's going flat in the torch as well, so that's starting to flash. We just pull down on that bottom arm, drop the ball joint back in again. And same with this side. Pop that back in, bottom arm down, ball joint in. Do that up, get the castle nut back in again as well. Yeah, with that 19mm spanner, like we said, just a bit of pressure on that one, just to stop it spinning round while I was doing the nut back up. And that's worked a treat. There we go. We'll put that little tidy that cover up on the end, make sure that's back in okay. And then we've got to do the earth mount on the front. We've got a wire retaining bracket on the front there as well that's got to go in. We've got this little loom coming down for the oxygen sensor, that's got a couple of bolts holding it in. Just whiz those up. And then we can put the battery case, the battery carrier back down again. Bit of lube on some of those bolts, make sure it goes in nice and easy. That 12mm down that hole takes you into the front support. Well, on the inner wing, there's some 10mm bolts there, 2 10mm bolts on the fuse box. Now I've got to get this, this is that 10mm bolt I was telling you about on the battery terminal. It's really tight and I struggled getting it off. In the end it snapped, so I've just had to put a new bolt through there. Chuck the battery back in, get a quick wipe down. We'll have that retaining bracket in the front, that one's got on fine, and then we've got a new bolt to go on this terminal on the right hand side, on the negative. And this brings us to the gearbox oil. So we'll take the bung out there. 1.7 litres of this has got to go in there. But you won't get it in with these bottles because of where it is, it's up high. So we've got this draw pump, suck the fluid out of the bottles and then pump it up into the gearbox. There's a newer version of that I've just put a link to on Amazon. This is essential. 1.7 litres in. Yeah, you can't do it without it. It's brilliant, brilliant for getting gearbox oil in. Pop that nut back on again, and then we come to this exhaust. So we can swaz those 2 14mm bolts out on springs there. I thought they would be really tight, but I gave them a squirt. Come out nice. Yeah, okay, they've come out nice. Put a squirt of the Rostov on them before I tried to draw them, and oh,
what a result!
Yeah, they've come out lovely.
What a great car.
What a great car. Now I put a new back box on this a couple of years ago, and the bracket here is yeah, it's pretty corroded. Them nuts look pretty bad. I've lubed them, but they're just soft. They snap straight off. Look, doing. But this front pipe, I didn't change that. That was been on there a lot longer, and it's corroded. It's got holes in it. A hole there at the back and a hole on the bend. So we'll have those out. Now I haven't got a new bracket for this yet, so I'm going to have to put a new bolt through there, and hopefully it will bite. I will order one now. I'll replace that overnight. We'll get a new bracket for that. But the exhaust is going on. Pop the bolts back in. Line it up as best you can. Try and keep it away from that fuel tank, because it, yeah, the shape of these is a little bit close to that, but not a lot you can do about it. You just got to try and manipulate it and get it to miss it. But that's up. We'll pop that oxygen sensor back in again using this tool and clip that up, and then do these 2 spring bolts up nice and tight. Wheels going back on.
We'll give all this underside a really good clean up in another video. I'm going to use the aqua steel and completely cover the subframe and everything, so it's going to look top dollar. Let's get these wheels back on and try this clutch.
I still absolutely love these wheels. I've got that video on them, the fitment and everything, telling you what wheels will fit one of these 107s, so check that out if you're thinking of putting new wheels on your car. We'll get the jacks back under, pop that up, get the axle stands out, and then we can get that back down on the deck. Yeah, there she goes. Oh, beautiful.
Right, the moment of truth. Let's have a little look.
We've got pedal, got a clutch pedal there, got a bit of clearance there as well. There goes nothing. But it starts, that's a good bit. That's a good sign. Will it go into gear?
Oh, let's have a look. Come round here. Oh, sweet as a nut.
Exhaust sounds like it's blowing from that joint. I'm gonna have to get a new clamp on there. Looks like not a big job. So that's the gearbox sorted. It's in. We've got that new piece of exhaust through to the back. Couple of jobs out the way. Hope you've enjoyed that one. Loads more to come. Loads more to come on this. We've got to clean all that front subframe down. We're going to aqua steel that, cover it all, get rid of all the rust, do the front arms and all that, tidy it all up, make it look really nice. Windscreen replacement, MOT. So yeah, plenty to do. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop me a little thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.